Hello, my dear student. Hope you all are doing well. Myself, Bishwajit Biswas, Assistant Professor, Pragati College of Education, Shalbari, Siliguri, District Darjeeling, West Bengal. So, dear students, today we are going to learn about the principle of selecting curriculum content. Fourth semester, course 8B, Unit 3. So, before going to start my main topic, we are discussing about curriculum and content. So, what is curriculum? This is basic. Curriculum is the outline of concepts to be taught to students to help them meet the content standards. Curriculum is what is taught in a given course or subject. It refers to an interactive system of instruction and learning with specific goals, content, strategies, measurement and resources. We can say curriculum is a tool in the hands of teacher to mold his material according to his ideal in the school. Now, content. Content is defined as information to be learned in school, another term for knowledge. It is an academic circle, refers to areas of learning and the knowledge within those areas. There are some basic purpose of content. First, it accepts knowledge and skills in an academic area. Second, to help organize materials. Third, to help sequential relationship of materials. And fourth is to furnish a source of valuable information. Now, criteria for the selecting curriculum content. While constructing the curriculum, many factors have to bear in mind. The philosophy of education, psychology of learning, the needs of peoples and the society, all have to be kept in mind. The process of curriculum construction, which has some phases, has also kept in mind, like selection of objectives, selection of learning experiences, selection of knowledge and activities which will provide the learning experiences, organization and integration of content and learning experiences, and last one is evaluation of curriculum. So, now first criteria for the selecting curriculum content is self-sufficiency. Actually, self-sufficiency denotes independent, self-reliance, self-support. To help learners attain maximum self-sufficiency in the most economical manner is the main guiding principle of subject matter or content selection. Although the economy of learning implies less teaching effort and less use of educational resource, students gain more results. They can cope up with the learning outcomes effectively. This criterion means that students should given a chance to experiment, observe and do field study. This system allows them to learn independently. With this principle in mind, when the students return, they should present outputs from activity. Second is significance. The subject matter or content is significant if it is selected and organized for the development of learning activities, skills process, and attitude. It also develops the three domains of learning, namely cognitive domain, affective domain, and psychomotor skills, and consider the cultural aspects of the learners. Particularly if your students come from different culture, background and races, the subject matter must be culture sensitive. In short, we can say select content or subject matter that can achieve the overall aim of the curriculum. Third one is validity. Validity refers to the authenticity of the subject matter or content you selected. Make sure that the topics are not obsolete. For example, do not include typewriting as a skill to be learned by the college students. It should be about the computer or information technology. Thus, there is a need to check regularly the subject matter or contents of the curriculum and replace if it necessary. Do not wait for another 5 years to change it. Modern curriculum experts are after current trends, relevance and authenticity of the curriculum, otherwise the school or the country become obsolete. Next is interest. Yes, this is a very important criteria for selecting curriculum content. This criteria is true to the learner-centered curriculum. Students learn best if the subject matter is meaningful to them. It becomes meaningful if they are interested in it. However, if the curriculum is subject-centered, teachers have no choice but to finish the pacing schedule religiously and only teach what is in the book. This approach explains why many fail in the subject. Next is utility. So, utility refers to one satisfying power of a commodity. It is the satisfaction, actual or expected, derived from the consumption of a commodity. Utility differs from person to person, place to place and time to time. Student thinks that a subject matter or some subject are not important to them. They view it useless. As a result, they do not study. Here are the questions that students often ask: will I need the subject in my life? Will I need the subject in my job? Will it solve my problem? So, students only value the subject matter or content if it is useful of them. Next one is learnability. The subject matter or content must be within the schema of the learners. It should be within their experiences. Teachers should apply theories in the psychology of learning to know how subjects are presented, sequenced and organized to maximize the learning capacity of the students. And last or most important criteria is feasibility. Feasibility means full implementation of the subject matter. It should consider the real situation of the school, the government and the society. In general, students must learn within the allowable time and the use of resource available. Do not give them a topic that is impossible to finish. For example, you have only 1 week left to finish the unit, but then the activity may take a month for the students to complete. Thus, this requirement is not feasible. Do not offer a computer subject if there is no even electricity in the area or there are no computer at all. Now, most important part is how to organize the content. So, after having decided on the content, the next step is organizing the content in a form that will facilitate learning. In this case, curriculum is what to be taught, while instruction is how it is taught. The relationship between curriculum and instruction is a partnership. The content to be taught along with learning experience and instruction may be taught of as methodology, teaching and accessing the achievement. Yes, now we will learn some principles have been proposed when decided on content organizing. First one is scope. Scope refers to both breadth and depth of content and includes all topics. Learning experience and organizing threads found in the curriculum plan scope not only to cognitive learning but also affective learning, and some would urge spiritual learning. Sometimes the scope of a curriculum is narrow, consisting of just a simple list of key topics and activities. Second is integration. So, integration is the bringing together of the concept, skills and values of different subjects, areas to reinforce each other. Information from different subjects areas are brought together in such way to present the learner with a unified picture of knowledge. And last principle is sequence. Most important, it's very important. Sequence refers to the organization of content and the extent to which it fosters cumulative and continuous learning. So, there are some guidelines in sequencing the curriculum, because if you are not properly sequenced, it will not be scientific, it will not be perfect. So, always you keep in mind you have to follow some guidelines. So, first guidelines is simple to complex. Yes, you should keep in mind content should be simple to complex. Content is organized going from simple components to complex components. depicting interrelationship among components. Second guidelines is spiral. In spiral, curriculum concepts may be introduced on a simple level in early grades and then revisit with more and more complexity and application later on. Third guidelines is prerequisites. It works on the assumption that bits of information or learning must be grasped before other bits of information can be understood. Next is whole to part. Yes, this is very important, whole to part. When suppose in your classroom you will start your topic. Before starting topic, give some idea to learners, whole idea. So content is better understand if an overview is first presented to show the connection between the parts. Next guideline is chronology. This is useful organizer for sequencing content, especially in subject such as history, political science and other world events. Next is vertical organization. This simply means that content and skills are arranged so that they build on one another, that they align with the general sequence of cognitive development. They indicate what students have learned and what they will learn later. This is vertical organization. And last guideline is horizontal organization. Actually, it involves how skills and content that are taught during one level or one period of time relate to another. For example, in a social science course, we might consider particular issue from a historical, sociological, political and economical point of view. Yes, before conclude my discussion, what we have learned today. First, curriculum and content. What is curriculum and what is content and purpose of content. Second, criteria for the selecting curriculum content. There was few criteria like self-sufficiency, significance, validity, interest, utility, learnability and feasibility. And then we learned how to organize the content. There were some principles like scope, integration and sequence. In sequence part, there are some guidelines how to sequence the content. So this was the principle of selecting curriculum content. Thank you so much.